back to the chamber. Senator Griff.
Thank you, Mr President. My question is to the Minister for Trade, Tourism and Investment, Senator Birmingham. Can the minister confirm that the Labor Party objected to ISDS and labour market testing provisions in their additional comments to the J. Scott TPP report, and if so, why they have backflipped?
The Minister for Trade, Tourism and Investment, Senator Birmingham.
Oh, thanks, Mr President. And I thank Senator Griff for the question. I do note, however, that Senator Griff is asking me to reflect upon a position taken by the opposition. It's for the opposition, of course, to speak of their position. I, however, do note certain statements made by the opposition today that I welcome as constructive statements in terms of what would be a continuance of long-held practice across matters of foreign policy and trade policy, where the parties of government seek to work in a constructive manner together. And that does, Mr President, stand in some stark contrast to those on the crossbenches at times who seek, unfortunately, to play politics with matters of the national interest. Senator Griff's question was in relation to the TPP-11. This, of course, is a trade agreement that is going to substantially expand access for Australian goods suppliers, Australian services suppliers, Australian investors to a wide-ranging marketplace. There are, of course, some 11 countries with a combined GDP of more than $13.8 trillion and close to 500 million consumers across the TPP countries. And what we're going to see is enhanced market access for Australian exporters. I heard Senator McDonald before reference sugar producers, beef producers, grains producers, wine producers, a range of goods services, goods industries, as well as those in the services sector, have broadly welcomed the TPP, welcomed the opportunities it will provide for increased generation of income for Australians, and as a result of that increased generation of income, increased job opportunities for Australians in the future too.
Senator Griff, a supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. As noted in Labor's additional comments, the TPP waives labour market testing for contractual service suppliers for 6 signatory countries. This will mean jobs in Australia will be able to be filled by workers from Canada, Peru, Brunei, Mexico, Malaysia and Vietnam without being first offered to Australians. Has the Labor Party explained to you, Minister, why they now think this is a good thing?
Senator Birmingham, the last part, there is commentary around the table. The last part of that question I do consider to be in order, because it was actually asking the minister about something that had been said to him. But I do remind senators of the standing orders around what question time is for. Senator Birmingham.
Thanks, Mr President. Look, as I said, it is for the opposition to speak for the opposition. I note that there is a statement by Mr Clare, the Shadow Trade Minister, and I'm sure that Senator Griff could avail himself of that statement made by Mr Clare. But, Mr President, Senator Griff asks about labour market testing provisions. I would simply note, for the benefit of the Senate and for Senator Griff, that the types of provisions contained in the TPP-11 are not dissimilar to the types of provisions contained in a number of other agreements that Australia has negotiated. And it's important to remember that those provisions are part of an integrated package of ensuring that Australian producers, our farmers, our businesses receive improved access to export markets, and that in doing so, billions of dollars of benefits are expected to accrue to Australia, and from those billions of dollars of benefits we can expect and should expect to see job benefits for hard-working Australians too.
Senator Griff, a final supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. Labor's additional comments also stated that Labor members of the committee remain concerned with respect to the potential for a successful ISDS campaign to expose a future government, perhaps even a Labor government, to a substantial claim for compensation for passing legislation in the public interest. Given it has today been reported that Labor is supporting the TPP, did the coalition do a deal to alleviate Labor's concerns?
Senator Birmingham. Order, Senator Cameron. Senator Cameron, take a breath after I call you to order. Order. I didn't hear. I didn't hear a order on my right and left. Senator Wong and Colbeck. Senators Wong and Colbeck. Order. Senator Wong. Order. Senator McDonald now. Senator Wong, I don't want to raise my voice. That was not helpful, Senator Farrell, albeit slightly amusing. Senator Birmingham.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I know much is said about ISDS provisions. I think it is important for people to understand that they do provide protections to Australian investors operating overseas, that they safeguard the operation for those Australian investors, that ISDS provisions have long been a feature of investment agreements that Australia has negotiated with many other countries over a long period of time. And in fact, in 30 years of use, there has only ever been one claim made against Australia in relation utilising ISDS. Senator Carr is right; it is in relation to tobacco, and that claim was thrown out. That claim was rejected and found not be within jurisdiction.
Senator Patrick, on a point of order.
Point of order, Chair. The question was, did you do a deal with the Labor Party on TPP?
Order.
Nothing but
Senator
a lid.
Wong.
Nothing but a
Senator
lid.
Wong and Senator Wong. Senator Wong. You started it, Senator Wong. Senator Patrick, I can't. Order. Senator McDonald on a point of order.
Mr. President, Senator Wong continually ignores your rulings. Are there special rules? Are there special rules just for Senator Wong that only apply to her and not to the rest of us? She continually ignores your rulings, and you should bring her to order.
I think you heard me do so at the time. Senator Carr, while I'm ruling, I was actually doing that at the time prior to you raising the point of order. I remind all senators to at least remain silent while I am speaking. Senator Wong. Senator Williams, I'm capable of— You're not drafted here, Senator Sterle. You're free to leave. On the point of order, Senator Patrick, I cannot instruct a minister how to answer the question. He was being directly relevant to part of the question asked. Senator Birmingham.
Thanks, Mr. President. As I was saying, that one claim that's only ever been made was indeed thrown out and found to be without jurisdiction. More broadly, I would note that such provisions do provide very clear safeguards so that Australian governments can continue to legislate in relation to our pharmaceutical benefits scheme, environmental standards and other public interest matters.
Order.